record this part. So we're talking about the intermediate value theorem here. I'm going to back up a step. I'm not going to erase anything. I am going to turn it off, however. So I'm going to turn these off temporarily, okay? And I'm going to erase these marks for a second. So
Okay.
what the intermediate value theorem normally is used to do is find the root, find the x-intercept that we talked about before, okay? But it doesn't have to be that. It can be any value between the y's here, okay?
Got it.
So what we have is we have this function y equals x squared plus 4x minus 13, which is what you're seeing on your screen, okay?
Right.
Now, why is it restricted? Because they told us in the problem that you're doing, let me go back to, okay, let me stop sharing temporarily.
Okay.
And let me go back to, I have to get out of this view here and go to my other, okay. If I look at, bear with because I can't minimize when I'm recording, so it's a little bit more keystrokes. In number 2, they gave you an equation here, right?
Yes.
X squared plus 4x minus 13 on the interval from 0 to 4.
Yes.
Such that f of c is 8, right? What we're doing is, first thing you want to do is you want to graph the function. So what I did was I came over here and I graphed this function on Desmos, okay?
Okay.
And when I did that, came out to this here, right? Now, why did I restrict it from 0 to 4?
Because that's like
the problem said that we were in the interval from 0 to 4, remember?
yes. Got it. Okay.
The problem is from 0 to 4, right?
Okay. Yes.
So I restricted the interval so you could see it. This is the interval from 0 to 4. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if you want to make this work, you have to know, so I know what my x's are. They're 0 and they're 4.
Okay.
Is that clear to you?
Yes. Yes, that's clear.
So there's 0 here, right?
Right.
And there's 4 here. Yeah? But I also need the y value for that. Okay?
Got it.
So what I did was, and I did this in my head, okay? But you're welcome to do this with a calculator, okay? I calculated what the y value is. So I evaluated f of 0, okay? And got f of 0 here and got negative 13, right?
Right.
Trying to turn this on and it's not cooperating with me, but there we go. There's my point, there's my label there, okay? There's 0, negative 13, right?
Yes.
And I did the same thing for 4, so I ended up at 4 and 19, okay? Are you okay there?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, now, so that's the setup. That's the setup.
Okay.
All right, so we're clear with the setup?
Yep.
Now, the question is, there's somewhere on this interval okay? Somewhere from 0 to 4, because remember the interval is specified in X numbers, okay?
Yes.
There's somewhere on this interval from 0 to 4 where the function value, where the y is 8.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Now that's a picture. This picture gives you what the answer is. Okay? I'm not interested in having you struggle to get. I'm trying to help you see what the theorem says. Okay?
Yeah, I get it.
It's not hard to do the math. But understanding what the theorem says is hard. I'm trying to help you understand what the theorem says. So it's saying somewhere between 0 and 4, okay, is some x where the function value is 8.
Yes.
Okay. Now
Yes.
the graph is telling us it's at 3. Let's see if we can use calculus to help us figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what the intermediate value theorem says. If the function that I give you is continuous, this thing in red, okay? If this thing in red is continuous on the interval that I give you, which is what?
Is -13.
No. The interval is my X numbers.
Oh, that's 0 and 4.
Right, so my interval is from 0 to 4. So here's what you would say. We're gonna start our so we're gonna say the function, and I'm not gonna retype it here. The function has a value, right? Now, they're not gonna call it X, here's why. If they call it X here, right? Then we end up solving for X when we have an X here. So it's convention to change the variable. It's called a dummy variable. So the function has a value C in the interval from, I'm going to write for you, for the sake of example, from X equals 0 to X equals 4. Okay. Okay, on the interval from X equals 0 to X equals 4, such that f of C is equal to 8. Okay, because here's why. This is my proof. Okay, and I have to do the work, but we're going to see it. So the intermediate value theorem says this function has to be continuous first, before we even think about where it might be or not. We have to know, is this continuous on this interval? Because first of all, the function is continuous on the interval. Now, this means interval in this case. I'm going to use interval notation on the interval from 1 to 4, right? Right there. The function is continuous on the interval 1 to 4. And thus, by the intermediate value theorem, and now, f of C, which we don't know what that number, we do know it's 3, okay? C is 3 in this case, but we don't know that. We have to show it mathematically, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to show that y is supposed to be what? 8, right?
Right.
So I'm going to write 8 is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 13. Okay.
So correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm saying this wrong. But basically what it is they give you a y value. So y equals 8. and
Mhm.
then they want you to find where that like line hits the interval.
Exactly.
Okay,
Where it hits the graph,
okay,
because
where it
there's
hits the
a
graph.
point now follow me here. Why do we know that? Because the left side of the interval was either, it could be above or below, but here it's below
Okay,
it, right?
got it.
So at 0 it was below it.
Yes,
At 4 it was above it.
got it.
So somewhere between 0 and 4 it had to hit it, didn't it?
Yes,
If you were on your water polo team, right? And
right.
somebody headed the ball to you, right? And
Yes.
somebody did it below your chest and somebody else did it above your chest, right? Then
Uh-huh.
at some point it had to hit your chest, didn't it?
Right. Yeah.
If it was, assuming that it was a continuous path, if it started below your chest, right?
Right.
Somebody was standing over here and they headed the ball to you and it was below your chest, and somebody else is standing or in the water above your chest, right?
Yeah.
And we know that, then it had to hit you on the way by.
Got it. So basically, and then what we're proving is that it
What we're showing is there's a value where it hits 8.
got it. Okay. Oh, that
Now,
makes okay.
what we don't know is where that is, which is why we
Right.
have to solve this thing.
Got it. Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So now here's the thing. You asked me before, and it was a good
Yes.
question. Why does this X change to C? Right. And
Yes.
it's really a convention because
Okay.
this function is in X, right?
Right.
And if I'm talking about X limits from 0 to 4, right?
Right.
Then yeah, there's another point on the x-axis. But if I write x is from 0 to 4, what x hits this x at this x? I start saying this x hits this x at this x, and it starts sounding like, what? What are we
That's a
talking
lot of
about?
X's.
So
A lot of
they
X's.
they give you a dummy variable instead. So instead
Got it.
of writing this in x, they write the same thing, but they write it in C's.
Got it. So that you can keep track of your numbers.
C squared, but it's the same mechanics of equation solving.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now I feel like I'm vibing. Okay.
Now, think about, now you got to go back to this. All the calculus is now over. Okay. Now
Got
I
it.
grant you this problem was understanding the calculus. I get that. Okay. But the
Okay.
calculus is all over. Done.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Great.
We have to go back to algebra and solve this equation for C now.
Yay. Okay. Okay.
So however you choose to do it, it's a quadratic equation in C. Okay. However
Okay.
you choose to do it, you're going to solve for C.
Got it. Okay.
So what she did was she decided to make one side of the equation 0, didn't she?
Right. She did.
So let's subtract 8 from both sides.
Okay.
What do you get?
C squared plus 4C minus, oh gosh, is that 8, 9, 21?
13, yeah, that's where your 21
21?
came from. So you
Okay.
get, if you look at her key, do me a favor and look at it.
I will do that.
C
Right.
squared
Let me pull it up.
plus 4C
Minus
minus
21.
21, there it is equal to what?
0.
0. That's where she got it from.
Got it. Okay.
Now I want you
And
to
that's
solve
why
for
she
C.
needed this. Okay. Because like I said, I was trying to figure out what it meant. And I kind of figured that if you have like a negative, right, and you have 19 and you're looking for something with 8, I understood that it was like in between it. So obviously there was a point, but I didn't understand what it was that she was like wanting. But
Do you
this
see it
makes
now or
sense.
not?
No, I get it now. This
You
makes
see it?
sense.
Because
Yes.
usually what we do is we use the intermediate value theorem to find roots, which is this point where it hits the axis. That's where we apply it the most, but you don't have to. You
Got it.
can
Okay.
apply it to any value, any y value in the interval. As long as the
Okay.
function is continuous, and as long as there's one point in the interval where it's below it, it could start out above it and go below it if you want. But
Okay.
it has to have one point where it's below it and one point where it's above it. And there must be one point at which it hit it at some point.
Got it. Okay. And then I have one more question.
Can you
'Cause
finish solving this by yourself?
yeah, yeah, I can. It's C plus 7 parentheses C minus 3.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You have to be a little bit careful because this yields two solutions, right?
Yeah, this is literally what I was just about to ask.
Okay, think about now. This makes this
This.
will make sense to you if you think about what is the question. I always tell you, pay attention to the question that they ask you, right?
Okay.
What interval are you in?
0 to 4.
0 to 4. Look at the answers that you got. What are
Okay.
the answers that you got?
-7 and 3.
So you got C equals -7, and you got C equals 3.
Yes.
Now I'm supposed to be where?
In between 0 and 4.
Uh-huh. So
Um,
is there something wrong? Not wrong, but is there something that doesn't fit with what
-7
you're
is an
trying?
integer.
Yeah, so
-7 is an
it's
integer.
not that -7 is wrong.
Okay.
It's that we're in the interval from 0 to 4, aren't we?
Right. So therefore it doesn't hit where we want it to hit.
So well, it does. Let me prove that to you really quick. If I remove this restriction here, and I zoom out here, there it is.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It hits the line, right?
Yes.
But what they gave me was on the interval. Remember, it's a closed interval, right?
Right.
So it's an interval between 0 and 4, right? So
Right.
here, this is 0 and 4, yeah?
Yes.
And so, yeah, there's a point over here where it hits, but I don't care about that point because it's not in the interval that I want. So I'm going to
Right.
use C equals 3 because it falls in the interval from, remember the proof, it had to be in the interval from 0 to 4.
Got
Okay?
it. Yeah. Okay.
And that, my dear, is how that works.
I
Okay?
feel good. I feel like I can do that now.